The end of chapter 3. We're in integers and absolute values. What is an absolute value? It's pretty simple. It sounds a lot harder than it actually is. It's not hard at all. Absolute values are the positive versions of any number. So what do I mean by that? This is the sign. It's two little standing sticks, and there's a number inside. Okay, so for example, here I put -6. What's the absolute value of -6? It's just 6. It's the distance from 0. So in this case, -6 and 0, well, it's 6 spaces to the left. But since it's distance, it's just a positive. And I'll show you what I mean right now. So it's just 6. Here's a second example. What's the absolute value of 5? Well, that's just 5. It's positive. It's already positive, so I just keep it as is. Anytime you see this, whatever you do inside, you're going to put a positive result here. Okay, so let me use this paper to show you what I mean there. So let's say you do have a number line. This is 0. And you want to know the distance from 0 to -6. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is -6, -5, -4, -3, -2, -1. Okay, oh, that's a negative. And then I want to know the distance. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. That's it. That's the distance, 6. We do the same thing with 5. Well, how many spaces are from 0 to 5? Well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the positive side, how many spaces? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 spaces. That's what this means. It just measures the distance from 0 to any number given inside. They usually measure distance, like I said. So these are keywords that you'll probably see. And that was actually the first questions that I saw on the test, which is why I'm not skipping it. They asked, what is the distance between point P to point M? Okay, so let's say it's from distance from here to here. Well, that would be 6. And then 5, that's 11 spaces. Okay. And they're just tricking you to see if you're going to get a negative number. They measure in distance, magnitude, or absolute values. Okay, these are probably the 3 keywords that you'll see on the test. Distance, magnitude, absolute value. If you get any of these, just know that your answer is going to be positive. So you can eliminate the negative answers, and you have probably a 50-50 shot to getting it right. Okay? Distance can't be negative, magnitude, or absolute values. It's like if you're saying, oh, what's the distance between here to McDonald's, for example, and it's 50 miles, but it's south, but you're not going to say, well, I'm going to drive -50 miles. It's not right. It's just, I'm going to drive 50 miles south. Doesn't mean, okay, you're going to go backwards. It's always positive. In real life, we don't have negative numbers. So that's what this means, absolute value. Distance cannot be negative. Okay? So let's look at this first example here. So we have 4 minus the absolute value of 6 minus 10. So this is still Gemma. So I'm still going to bring Gemma from the previous section. And actually I have it here. Gemma includes, it's a grouping symbol, the G, parentheses, brackets, braces, the fraction sign, and my absolute value. Remember I put that in there? So this is still a grouping symbol, technically. So I'm going to focus on whatever's inside. So I'm going to bring in my 4 minus, and I'm going to keep this absolute value because I still need to know what 6 minus 10 is. Remember the solder scenarios? I have 6 of the positive soldiers and 10 of my negative soldiers. You destroy each other. I have 4 survivors of what army? Which one number is bigger, the 6 or the 10? The 10 carries a negative charge, so this is going to be -4. Okay. And now my question is, what's the absolute value of 4? Of -4, excuse me. Remember, -6 has an absolute value of just positive. So I'm solving it already here. So I'm going to keep that 4 there, minus, and that's a +4. You see how the absolute value is gone because I already solved it. And now I just go ahead and subtract these 2. So 4 minus 4, 0. So this turns out to be just 0. They canceled each other out. Okay. Hopefully this was simple enough. If not, again, ask me questions where I lost you, and I'll be more than happy to answer. Second problem. A lot of grouping symbols happening here. Do not worry. We'll go ahead and take it step by step. So I'm going to go ahead and look at this factor first. Remember, we're multiplying. These are called factors. And I'm going to say, do I have grouping symbols? I do. I have the fraction sign and I have the absolute value. So this fraction sign, go ahead and divides the numerator and the denominator. So I'm going to look at the top part first. What's happening in the top part? Well, I have the absolute value of 3 times 24. So all I have to do is multiply 3 times 8. Oh, I gave you the answer. It's not 3 times 24. 3 times 8 is 24. I give you the answer before I let you answer. So 3 times 8 is 24. Do I need to keep the absolute values? I do not, because this is already a positive. But I'll just keep it for visual for now. Over 2 times negative 33 in absolute value. What's the absolute value of 24? Well, that's just 24 over 2 times negative 33, absolute value 3. Okay. Do I have further grouping symbols here? I do. I still have this, but think about it. Do I have something on top that I need to simplify? No. What about the denominator? Nope, it's already simplified. So this becomes division, but I don't want to skip ahead into the A because I still have a grouping symbol on this factor. So I'm going to leave this as is for now. It's still division now. It's just a simple division. So let me look at this problem. What's going on here? Do I need to multiply, divide anything on the inside of this absolute value? I do not. I just need to solve it. What's the absolute value of negative 33? Remember, it's the positive version. So it's just regular 33. So I'm going to rewrite this as 24 over 2 times 33 over 3. Do I have more grouping symbols? Not anymore because they're simplified on top and the bottom, top and the bottom. So it just becomes a division sign. This is like if I say 24 divided by 2 times 33 divided by 3. Division sign comes first, so this is 24 divided by 2 is 12 times, what's 33 divided by 3? That's 11. And then I ask myself, what's 12 times 11? Well, I'm going to put my answer up here. This is 132. Okay. A trick to multiply by 11s is whatever number you're multiplying by 11. So this case, the 12. I'm going to keep the 1. And I'm going to keep the 2. But I'm going to separate it because something goes in the middle. It's the sum of the same number. So 1 plus 2 is 3. And that number goes in the middle. 132. That's how I got that one. It's a simple trick to multiply by 11s. Okay, that's why I managed to do it real quick in my head. Okay, next problem. Oh, before I move on, hopefully this was self-explanatory. I'm telling you, absolute value is way easier than it looks like. Okay, next one here is 6 minus absolute value of 17 minus 11 minus the absolute value of 5. So I have two absolute values. Of course, we have our grouping symbols. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that 6 minus, and I'm going to take care of this first absolute value. What's 17 minus 11? I'm going to work on the inside. That is just 6. So I'm going to keep my absolute value of positive 6 minus, what's the absolute value of 5? Just 5. I don't even have to work on anything inside. So I can drop that absolute value because I'll just have to solve for that. Okay, so I'm keeping my positive 5, but it's still subtraction, so there you have it. So now I ask, what's the absolute value of 6? Because I still have that grouping symbol here. That's just 6, right? So it's 6 minus 5 now, and it just became about subtracting. So when I read it from left to right, what operation comes first? The 6 minus 6. So 6 minus 6 is this one here. 0 minus 5. What's 0 minus 5? Well, that's just negative 5. Okay. And again, you could do the armies in case you're like, well, how did you get negative 5? Well, turn that into a sum or addition. Change the sign there, the charge. And I have 0 armies or 0 soldiers here. And they were fighting 5 soldiers from the negative army. So I'm keeping my 5 and my sign there. So this one here is an answer of negative 5. Last one here. I do have grouping symbols, so it doesn't matter which one you start with. I'm going to start with this one because it's probably the simpler version, or the simpler one. So I have negative 38 plus 8. I have negative 38 soldiers, and just 8 of them are positive soldiers. So, who's going to survive? The negative soldiers, right? So I'm still going to keep my negative sign, but what's 38 minus 8? Which is the ones that got killed. 30. Times, I'm going to keep everything else. I don't have to solve anything else in here except what's the absolute value of negative 30. It's the positive version of that, so it's just 30. I drop my absolute signs. Times, do I still have a grouping symbol? I do. I still have 2 of them. So I'm going to ignore this part for now. I'm going to look over here and say, okay, what's top and bottom because of that fraction sign. So let me look at the top. Still have absolute value. So let me look at the inside and see what I'm working with. It's negative 5 times 6. We can bring in Dorito Man. Negative, negative, positive. And we are multiplying. What are we multiplying? Negative 5. I'm going to put it on this side. Times 6. My 5 is a negative sign, so I'm going to eliminate that one. My 6 is a positive sign, so I'm going to eliminate that one. And I'm keeping my negative sign. So when I put it up here, times negative, and then I ask, what's 5 times 6? That's 30. All over 10. Okay, I still have that grouping symbol there, but now I just need to simplify. Or not simplify, but solve. What's the absolute value of negative 30? Well, that's 30. So I'm going to do 30 times 30 on top and 10 at the bottom is equal to. And then I ask, okay, let me look at the bottom part. Do I need to simplify anything for that 10? Nope, it's already simplified. So now this is division. So let me go ahead and solve this first. Well, what's 30 divided by 10? That's 3, right? Or you can do this as well. Okay, when integers with whole numbers, another way to represent them is 30 over 1. Okay, this is another way to represent whole numbers. And you can just multiply across in case you wanted to keep that whole Gemma's thing going with multiplication, whatever comes first. Well, we are multiplying this by that. So let me go ahead and do this part first. So 30 times 30 is 900. One times 10 is 10. And of course, the trick of the zeros is eliminate how many zeros you can. That's what I get. So 90 divided by 1 is just 90. So it has an answer of 90. If you don't like this, let's just rewrite it again as we had it. So it's 30 times 30 divided by 10. And you can argue, well, this is still a grouping symbol, so we still need to solve for this first before I do any of this. So what's 30 divided by 10? Just 3. Just 3. And that's where I asked, what's 30 times 3? Well, 3 times 3 is 9, and I keep the 0. Okay. You see how I got the same thing? So there's more than one way to solve this. Whatever one works for you is fine. And there you have it. We just solved absolute values, which is always the positive version, and then it just becomes order of operations with Gemma. Okay, so let me know which one works for you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, sorry about the camera moving all over the place. Right now it's just my phone, so I'm holding it with one hand and I'm teaching with the other one, so it's kind of difficult sometimes when I have to push down. But there you have it. Okay, so let me know, and we'll see you for chapter 4 on Monday. Okay, bye bye.